Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. We are waiting for just a few more people to join us. In the meanwhile, I would take this opportunity to introduce the professor as well as and set the context for today's session. So a warm welcome to all of you present here. Thank you for taking out time on a Sunday afternoon. In today's information session about the Masters in Economics program, which is offered at Ashoka University, we have Professor Ashwini Deshpande, where she will be sharing about the program highlights, about her own research interest, admissions process, timeline, financial aid, and the prospects of pursuing the program at Ashoka. Before I hand it over to you, ma'am, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you formally. So, as you all may know right now, that she's a professor of economics and the founding director of Center for Economic Data and Analysis at Ashoka University. Her PhD and early publications have been on the international debt crisis of the 1980s. Subsequently, she has been working on the economics of discrimination and affirmative action with a focus on caste and gender in India. She's the author of Grammar of Caste, Economic Discrimination in Contemporary India, Oxford University Press, New Delhi, 2011 and 2017, and Affirmative Action in India, Oxford University Press, New Delhi. She is the editor of Boundaries of Clan and Color, Transnational Comparisons of Intergroup Disparity, Globalization and Development, a Handbook of New Perspectives, Capital Without Borders, Challenges to Development, and Global Economic Crisis and the Development World. She received the Exim Bank Award for Outstanding Dissertation, now called the IERA Award in 1994, and the 2007 VKRV Rao Award for the Indian Economists under 45. Without wasting any more time, I would like to hand it over to you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuja, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to the prospective applicants. Let me share my screen. I hope everybody can see it. Yeah, okay. All right, so thank you everyone for joining this session on a Sunday morning. I will talk briefly about the MA Economics program at Ashoka University and a little bit about my own work and what I teach and my research. And then we'll throw it open to questions. We'll keep it as interactive as possible. Please keep typing your questions either in, Anuja, what is better, chat box or Q&A?
Yes, Professor, both can work out with us.
Okay.
So would request all of you to start putting in your questions in the question answer tab or the chat box. We will try and moderate those in the later half, or as you prefer, Professor.
No, at the end. Maybe it's best at the end.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. All right. So Ashoka is, is a young university, but it's already the top university as far as economics is concerned. So if you get admission into Ashoka, you would actually be really fortunate. In 2014, Ashoka started the undergraduate program in economics. 2017, the postgraduate program started. 2019 was the first batch of MA graduates. And 2022, the fourth batch of MA graduates, MA economics will graduate. Until now, about 100 students have enrolled in the MA program. There are 27 permanent faculty, with a wide variety of research expertise: economic theory, game theory, behavioral economics, experimental, macroeconomics, monetary economics, economic growth, economics of health, economics of discrimination, time series, economics of gender, political economy, development economics, and of course, the whole range of core disciplines are there. These are some of the pictures. These are, I think this is the faculty till last year. Okay, I think these are the full professors. This is Professor Pulapre Balakrishnan, myself, Professor Bhaskar Datta, Bishwajit Banerjee, Ratul Lahakar, who's the head of department, and Bharat Ramaswamy, who's also the dean of the Office of Academic Affairs. The MA Economics program, the aim is, of course, to train and produce the best economists in the country. The average batch size is about 25 to 35, which is a really good size in terms of personalized attention. It's an ideal class size. And that gives us the opportunity to have in-depth interaction inside the classroom, and also for you to interact with faculty as mentors. In any case, Ashoka provides academic mentors. And you saw, the range of faculty expertise is, in theory as well as in data. And so, in fact, we believe that both sides enrich each other, because there is it's not just analysis of data without any hypotheses or, theory informing hypotheses. And at the same time, what you learn in economic theory, you can put that to test. So we have expertise in both sort of dimensions. It's a 2-year program, and there are 4 semesters in the program. The first year focuses on the foundations of economics, and the second year is when students are allowed to take elective courses, which then they can choose according to their areas of interest. The second year has one of the courses is also the year-long thesis dissertation course. So this is what it looks like. Semester 1, first year, there's a math camp, which is a 3-week refresher course. Micro 1, macro 1, quantitative techniques and stats for economics. Second semester is micro 2, macro 2, econometrics 1, and 1 elective. And second year is over the 2 semesters, you can take 2 elective courses from a whole range of options, which keep changing. Like this year again, we'll have some new faculty. There'll be a fresh list of elective courses, and also students can also choose to do a dissertation over 2 semesters. So that's an option as well. What sets Ashoka apart? Well, first of all, it gives you solid training in theory and data. The coursework is at par with the top programs in the country. We use Stata and MATLAB. Some students get training in Python as well. There's a very big spread of elective courses. And we talk about, different subfields of economics in our classroom. So you get a much richer experience over the 2 years. We have international visitors. Of course, during COVID, they had to be virtual visitors, but we've had, top names in the field coming to visit our department, which gives you exposure to the top minds working in the field, including Nobel laureate Oliver Hart, who came just before COVID hit, actually. We also have area-specific workshops in macro, behavioral, experimental. We have an experimental lab as well. We also have interactions with computer science. So, you can also do some training in data sciences as well. And of course, we have the annual conference, we have the annual conference every December, which is also a very enriching experience. Student stories. What do our graduates do? Well, they get hired by, a whole range of employers in the private and the government sector. So, including academic placements. And of course, some students go on to do PhDs. So we've sent students to Boston College, University of Minnesota, Pennsylvania State University, Warwick, California, Irvine, Virginia, Tufts, Houston, and of course, some stay back to do a PhD in Ashoka, JNU. This year, we'll have more offers. The offers are still coming in, so we will collect that data. And in the private sector, students have gone to American Express, JPAL. JPAL is not strictly speaking private sector. RBL Bank, Dr. Reddy's Foundation, Euromet, etc., etc. But also gone to government or think tanks or research positions like JPAL. They've gone to CAFRAL, which is a think tank run by the RBI. They've gone to IEG, which is in Delhi, Kriya University, Ministry of Commerce, etc. ID Insight, which is another research organization. And so there's a whole range of careers that students have pursued after graduating from from Ashoka, MA Economics in Ashoka. What is the kind of salary you can expect? The cost to company, of course, it's not only a function of, we don't decide these salaries, the employers do, but over the years, you can see that they've basically been rising, of course, to do with the economic health of the companies themselves. But it's a decent, it's a very good package that students get offered for being just masters and not trained in an MBA program or anything. So, of course, to play in the big league, you have to hit the fast ball, as Ted Williams from the US argued. And so, you have to be prepared for hard work. And this slide tells you the timeline for admissions to the economics program. Applications are open already. 31st of March is the submission deadline. 1st of May is the entrance exam. Then there's going to be interviews. And then finally, 3rd of June will be the declaration of results. What you need to apply is basically an undergraduate degree from a recognized university. It could be in any discipline. So as long as you can pass the entrance exam, you can do an MA in economics in Ashoka. So you don't need an UG degree only in economics, basically. That's the point. What is the process? You have to fill out an application form, which is available at the website. There's going to be an online entrance examination. It will be an objective type, and it will consist of MCQs, which you have to solve and then input your answer. The test will compulsorily test students on statistics and analytical reasoning. They will also be, students will also be required to choose, they can choose either the mathematics option or the economics option. So if you haven't done economics in your undergraduate and you have mathematical training, you could take the entrance exam. And then after that, there will be an interview round where we'll gauge a little bit more about your interest and about your suitability for being a student in Ashoka Economics. There is, there's a financial information, but of course, there is also financial aid available depending on the needs. So it's a need-based financial aid program. And about, this is the MA Economics Financial Aid breakup since 2017. Okay, so you get about a 50% waiver on tuition, more than 50% or up to 90%. Okay, sorry, 53% got I'm sorry. I'm reading this all wrong. 35% got up to 50% waiver on tuition. 12% got greater than 50 up to 90% waiver on tuition. And 53% of our students got 100% a waiver on the tuition fee. So as you can see, it's a very generous financial aid package. So let that not be the reason that you don't apply to Ashoka, because the fees are high, but be assured that depending on your financial situation, you would get financial aid. And there are, of course, all this information that I have outlined is also available on our departmental webpage, admissions page, and of course, there is our email address, economics@ashoka.edu.in. So please definitely write to us if there are any questions that I don't know the answer to or that are not here, that we can answer. Now, before I'll leave this slide on, and I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about my own work and what I teach. So for the MA, I teach basically a course called Economics of Discrimination right now. And that looks at theories of discrimination, economic theories of discrimination, and teaches students techniques, empirical techniques about how to measure discrimination. Now, why is this different from what you've learned, or you might have learned if you had done economics? Is because when we learn economics as undergraduates, we are told that the identity of the economic agent doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female or black or white or Hindu or Muslim or upper caste or lower caste or Indian or American or any of these identities don't matter. It's basically an economic agent who has a certain income, who has tastes and preferences, and some agents are consumers, some agents are producers, suppliers, and all of these economic dimensions of what characterize economic agents will determine how much of any good is produced, consumed, sold, etc. Right? So it's all economic, numerical, monetary quantities that make a difference. And the social identity of individuals doesn't play a role in their economic outcomes. It may play a role in their social outcomes, that is who they marry, etc. But it doesn't play a role in their economic outcomes. Now we know that's not true. But when you look at the standard economic models, you wouldn't know how social identity plays a role because there is no scope in those models to model the impact of social identity. But economics has changed a lot. And in fact, some of these theories have been around since the 1950s. It's just that they didn't become mainstream. So in my course, what I teach students is within standard economic theory, how you can incorporate the role and impact of social identity on economic outcomes, and therefore demonstrate how even in fully market-based economies, outcomes of agents can vary widely depending on what social identity they are born with. And also the magnitude or a rough magnitude of discrimination based upon social identity can be estimated using data. And I teach techniques which are based upon data, secondary data sources or experiments that gauge the level of prejudice or stigma. And then I also talk about remedies to discrimination. So for example, should we have affirmative action or not? Or is just growth sufficient to remedy discrimination and so on? So it's a little bit of a different kind of a course than what you'd learn in a mainstream economics course. And I must tell you that I used to teach at the Delhi School of Economics before that. And that's where I actually introduced this course for the first time. So no Indian university had any such course until I introduced it at the Delhi School. And now I've carried it with me here at Ashoka. So it's one of the many, many unique courses that you will get to learn about if you decided to join Ashoka. So that's it from me for now. I will stop sharing and take questions.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. I would request the audience members to make use of this time and share your questions, any doubt that you have regarding the discipline or regarding the program which is offered at Ashoka. Anything in specific that you would like to know, please share your questions here. We have one in place though. If you want, ma'am, I can read it out for you. As we are economics student, how to make interest in economics and what kind of thought process should be possessed to becoming an economist?
Well, that's what we are going to be teaching you in if you joined Ashoka. So you have got, if you have been an economics student, you've got some exposure to economics. But what we would like to do in our MA program is not take that for granted, because there will be other students who would not have had any exposure. And because students come from a variety of different institutions with different degrees of rigor, etc. So we want to bring everybody on the same page. So what we do is we take students through basic courses in the first year, as you saw, in the list that I'd outlined, so that those who know it already, for them it's revision or refreshing their memories. For those who have not studied those topics, it's for them a new thing. And then when everybody is brought to par, then students can take electives depending on your interest. As you saw, we offer electives in a whole range of subjects. What does it mean to think like an economist? Well, you think rationally, you think logically, you start paying attention to, chains of causation. If you say, we see Y because of X, what you want to say is that X is causing Y, right? And that's a strong statement. So then we teach you how to measure causality. You might think that something is causing something, but it may not be. Maybe it's just correlation and not causation. So we teach you that difference. We teach you how to analyze that difference, right? So we teach you a way of thinking, some of which you'll apply, of course, in the classroom, but we hope that that way of thinking will stay with you. So whatever else you might do in your life, whether you study economics ahead or you do a job or whatever, you learn to become more rigorous, more scientific in your approach. You start to apply the scientific cause and effect method rather than, just be more casual about the statements you use. So we hope that we inculcate a sort of a scientific spirit or a scientific temper in the way you think.
Thank you, Professor. The next question is about, are there any dual master's program available with economics? Also, do we have summer internships available or not?
No, there's no dual masters, but there are definitely summer internships. So, I run this center called CEDA, which is a database center. So there are internships there, but there's a whole bunch of internships. Plus, we have a young faculty that is research active. So every faculty member is doing very exciting research, and they're always looking for research assistants. So you get to work with a faculty member and get paid for it, but also learn valuable insights about how to do research. So yeah, those options are. Plus, there's regular from the placement office. There are summer internships that you could apply for, and be, if you get selected, you get selected.
Thank you. The next question is, what are the possibilities of me doing a PhD after MA at Ashoka? Can I get LORs for applying to foreign universities?
Of course. In terms of applying, in terms of PhD in Ashoka, it's a question of just you have to take an entrance exam again. There will be an entrance exam. So there's this procedure, and obviously it might be easier for you because you've already done masters. And letters of recommendation, faculty are always happy to write, especially if you do well in the MA, then chances of your getting good letters of recommendation are higher. So, yeah.
Thank you, Professor. There's a bunch of questions around financial aid. Would you like to throw some light on it, Professor, the relevance of it and the way to go ahead with it?
So the procedure, Anuja, maybe you might be able to explain better. Yeah. I don't know where to write because, these are university level decisions, not departmental level decisions. So
maybe, yeah, I can talk
Anuja, a bit about you can take it forward. So basically the financial aid is given by the university, not by the department. So all decisions about, and the university has a collective to look at, right? It allocates a large amount to financial aid, but it looks at all the students in relatively speaking, it's not allocated department wise. So Anuja will be best placed to answer this question. You can follow up with her.
I can take that. Yeah, so the financial aid is firstly, it is totally based on the need, on the affordability factor. So the financial context of every student, whoever gets selected into the program, that will be checked on the basis of the financial documents that they ask for. And on the basis of that, you will be provided with a scholarship ranging from 25% to a full 100%. So this will come into the place only after you're shortlisted. And that's how the financial aid team will guide you go through the procedure, as in when whatever documents would be required from your end. The next question is that, okay, how exactly can we prepare for the interview?
No, so the interview is very personalized. We have a number of faculty members. Each faculty member interviews Like I think I interviewed 5 students and some others interviewed. So it's not a panel. Typically, it's typically somebody from the admissions team and one faculty member from the department. And it's a very relaxed, free-ranging conversation about, we just want to gauge your interest in the program, in Ashoka, what prompted you to apply to Ashoka, etc. So don't think of an interview as yet another exam, no. Because your skills, whatever we needed to test, those would have already been tested in the exam. After you've cleared the exam, only then you get called for the interview. So the interview is more like a personal touch. It's sort of more free-ranging. So don't get hassled about the interview. Don't think of interview as like a second exam. No, that's not. And it's not a language test either. So don't worry if you're not very fluent in English or anything like that. That's not what is being tested. It's your commitment to Ashoka and it's your commitment to doing a master's at Ashoka. That is what we are trying to get a sense of, your motivation levels. So don't worry about your language, don't worry about your background, and don't say, oh, I have a very small house, so I should be self-conscious. I have a very big house, so I should be self-conscious. Those things are immaterial. We are not testing or looking at any of those elements.
Professor, the next question is about the entrance examination medium, whether it is conducted online or offline. So
I already mentioned that it's online.
It's online. Okay, the next question is, are we asked questions about the essay we have written in the application? I guess this person means that in the interview, whether the person is asked essay-related questions or not.
I didn't. I can't say for everyone else, but I didn't ask any questions when I interviewed people last year. I was really focused on the motivation and what was driving these students. So
I think
I didn't ask any questions.
Yeah. Whoever has asked this question, maybe I can throw some light that I think the conversation is really organic. So it is not mandatory that some set of questions will be asked. So take it as a conversation which can just flow from your end.
And sometimes it goes in a totally different direction that like somebody says something and then you just, it's a very organic. It's like chatting the way we are chatting right now. Then think of it like that. Yeah.
There's another question. I've completed my first year of MA Economics from South Asian University in Delhi. Can I transfer my credits to Ashoka Master's Economics program and complete my second year at Ashoka?
I don't know the answer to that. Honestly, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do not think so because it's two different universities, right? Ideally, it doesn't happen.
I mean, lateral entry in general doesn't happen, but I would, maybe Anuja, you can check this and get back, but my impression is that it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Doesn't usually. There's another question that I did my undergraduate studies at NIT Warangal and passed out in 2016. Since then, I'm working as a project manager with an organization. I applied for Masters in Economics at Ashoka University. If I, by any reason, do not perform well in the entrance examination, can I still be allotted a seat?
No. I'm sorry, because the entrance exam is just the basic, economics is, it becomes interesting later, but initially there is a lot of, you need to be fluent in mathematics, statistics, etc., etc. You need to have, because then if you don't do well after you get admitted, then it'll be a bigger disappointment for you. So the exam is just to test preparedness. That's just the beginning of it. So unfortunately, if you don't clear the exam, we can't admit you. I'm sorry.
There's one more question, Professor, that how is the Masters in Ashoka different from the universities abroad?
So in the US, a lot of it's a 4-year undergrad. And then those who want to study further, they just go directly for the an integrated MA PhD program. So the 2 years of coursework and then followed by PhD. So that's what they call graduate school. In Europe, there are, in America also, there might be specialized master's courses, or sometimes if you drop out after the 2 years of coursework, they'll give you a master's degree as an exit kind of a clause. But most of it is basically what they call grad school. or graduate programs are basically integrated MA PhD programs. In Europe, you do have separate MA only or MSc programs, but there's a huge amount of heterogeneity depending on where you are going to go to Europe. Even in England, there are 1-year courses and there are 2-year courses. So it's really, it's a question of where you want to go and just looking at that particular institution and checking. Our details I've already told you. And then you'll have to compare that with whichever institution you are going to, you're going to be into. Europe is, huge and very diverse.
Okay, there's another question about when does the program start?
August. So there's an academic calendar which is online. I'm forgetting the exact date in August. Anuja, you might remember, but it's the same for the whole university. Begins like all the semester timings, mid-semester breaks, all of that is university level. It's not program level. So MA Economics will follow the same academic calendar that Ashoka follows.
Okay, there is another question about MSc in economics versus MA in economics. Is there any difference that you feel there is? Or
no, in some institutes call it MSc, some institutes call it a MA, we call it MA.
Apart from that, I've also shared some detail about the program. You can find the links in the chat box. So the MA Economic link that I've shared, it encompasses all the information that is required to know about the master's program. And then I've also shared the brochure where you can also have a delve deeper into what are the things which are offered and some snippets from the student's profile. Yeah, if there is anything else, any other question that you may have in mind, please feel free to ask us. Just to share the timeline with you again, that the application form has opened from the 1st of December and the admissions deadline is 31st of March. Entrance examination is on the 1st of May and interview would be held in the month of May itself. Decision notification should ideally be by 3rd of June. So this is the timeline.
There's a question about entrance exam, which books and all. All that information is on our webpage. So there are sample questions, there are books, everything is there. So go, please take a look and
Yeah, so once you open the link, you will find it there itself.
Yeah.
Link has been embedded in that particular page itself. As well as some resources of the entrance examination. Yes, that too has been shared. Model papers have been shared as well. Okay. Someone wants to know about the course you teach a bit in detail, probably about the different courses.
Yeah. So it's called for MA, I teach economics of discrimination, and I already described that. Basically, do you want to ask me a specific question? Because otherwise I'll say the same thing again. Who asked this? What's your name?
It's an anonymous person who has just messaged me on chat box.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit on the question? Because it's, short of them going into the course itself. Basically, it's about how social identity that you're born into affects your economic outcomes, not social outcomes. So things like wages, occupation, incomes, land holding, where you buy your goods from or something, So things which you thought were just economic decisions. It should not matter. But as it turns out, our social identities do matter. So I teach about the theory that allows us to understand why people discriminate. And then I talk about how to measure discrimination through data, through experiments, etc.
Okay, where will I get the link? Please repeat. Okay, probably I'll just share the embedded link over here itself. Just give me a moment. Please refer to the chat box. I've just shared the sample paper link there. And Yeah, the syllabus for the entrance examination is something that I'm also posting in there.
So all the details about the entrance exam, syllabus, model papers, reading list, everything is there. So, just go to the website and you'll get all the information.
Yeah. There's another question about, are there any solution available to the sample paper questions available on the Ashoka website? Whether solutions are there or not.
Well, we'll have to check.
Yeah. Yeah, solutions are there actually.
They're there. Okay, perfect.
Okay, does gap year matter at the Ashoka University interviews if someone has taken a sabbatical in between?
No. I mean, as long as you've cleared the entrance exam, then in your interview, we'll just check for your motivation. And if supposing you're a gap year case, then we might ask you what happened. There could be a number of reasons, but it'll never be held against you. Yeah.
And there's another question about, ma'am, what kind of research are you currently doing at CEDA? And can we do an internship there?
Yes, you can. So visit our website. Let me put that in the chat box. This is our website. Or actually, let me put a.
Yeah, I'm just sharing the link, ma'am.
Yeah, just share the actual link. Yeah, that's the one. So basically, go to our website. What CEDA does is it's not so much research driven. It's basically creating a data portal, which is already up. Actually, we are enhancing it, but there's a basic version up, and we provide data-based narratives. So understanding socioeconomic realities of India, using data that's available publicly, and we put together data from different sources and make it available publicly. My personal research is on, gender gaps, women's work, caste discrimination, public goods provision, social mobility. So I'm working on a whole range of things. But these days focusing a lot on gender and gender gaps, because CEDA, just got a big grant as well for partnering with the private sector to create increased women's labor force participation rate in India. So, yeah.
Okay, how many months preparation is required to clear the entrance examination approximately?
Hard to say, because it depends on whether you are currently, depends. Supposing it's a gap year, then you've lost touch, then you need more. If you're currently doing economics undergrad, then you're very much, in touch with the subject. It depends on what textbooks you followed as an undergraduate. If you followed the internationally, standard textbooks, you have an easier time. If you didn't, then there's a little bit of a learning curve there. Again, it depends on whether you're doing the maths quest option or the economics option, and also just how fluent you are with mathematics, etc. So the more fluent you are, the less time it will take. So these are all very individual specific. But just remember that if you haven't studied from the textbooks that are on our website, then it's going to take you longer, because those are the standard. That's the knowledge, that's the level that we expect. And if you don't have it already, then you need to put in more work. So.
Sure. Thank you, Professor. There's one more question. I cannot afford the fee, and I feel that I'm not so brilliant that I could get 100% scholarship. So should I fill the entrance examination form or not? Okay.
So the fee is not, fees are not merit-based. They are need-based. So if you qualify the entrance exam, then you will be considered. So whether you're brilliant or not, that first of all, you might be just brilliant and you are being modest. That's one thing. Secondly, that part will enter the entrance exam only. Once you clear the entrance exam and the interview and we decide that we are offering you the position, then the financial aid office will take over. So that's not merit-based, it's need-based.
Ma'am, any specific reason that you would want to mention, if you're comfortable, that the reason behind shifting from DSC to Ashoka, someone has just asked.
Let's just say that public universities are going through a very difficult and challenging time. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. If there is
Ashoka is fabulous. So it's both the push factor and the pull factor. I could have gone somewhere else as well. Even if I wanted to leave DU, I could have gone somewhere else. But I chose Ashoka. I mean, I was not chose. I didn't choose Ashoka. Ashoka chose me. But I applied to Ashoka in the hope that they will select me because of its sterling academic reputation.
Thank you, Professor. If there is any other question related to the curriculum or related to any of your own research interest pertaining to the discipline, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, if there is no other question, I would just like to drop in my email ID here so that if there is any question related to the admissions process or anywhere you're getting stuck, you can feel free to get in touch with me. I would be there to help you. So yeah.
That and you have all the links and everything, so feel free to email these email addresses that are listed.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Anuja.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us, and start writing your application and submitting it. Yes, all the best to all of you. Thank you, Professor, for your time.
Bye. I'm logging off, right?